I didn't think you were ready, but you are. I knew it when I saw you with him. Your whole body burns. Make love with me.
I'm not like you.
You can't escape the nightmare without me. And I can't escape without you.
I'm not like you!
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 31 Days of Monsters, Day 4. And I'm your host, Graham Nolan. And today we are talking about Paul Schrader's remake in 1982 of the Val Lewton classic, Cat People. You know, if you've seen enough of my shows, you know I'm not a huge Val Lewton fan. I know everybody loves him because he likes to take the long way around the barn as far as scares go. He never wants to really show a monster. So they're all his films. Now he didn't direct them. Of course, he was a producer, but, you know, Jacques Tourneur used to direct a bunch of them, including Cat People. They wouldn't show you the monster. The one thing I liked about this version in 1982 is that they showed you more. There's some more violence, a little bit of gore, plenty of nudity, which never hurts an 80s movie. And you know, it's just, you know, I don't like this better than the Val Lewton one. I don't think. I thought I liked it more until I saw it last night. But it's very 80s. It's very definitely 80s. The music in it, as you heard in that trailer. You know, it's got that synthesized action going on. Nastassja Kinski is beautiful in it. There's some odd, some very odd director's choices here. There's some editing issues, which I'm like, wow, what the hell just happened? They never really explain what Ruby Dee's character is. She was the black woman who was living with the brother, maybe to provide him with the hookers to eat and stuff, keep him caged up when he was a panther. I don't know, maybe so. I mean, she did something enough to get thrown in jail, but they don't make that very clear. John Hurt is a little wooden in this, but it's okay. It's a pretty good 80s flick, and again, you know, it's got Nastassja Kinski in it. She's smoking in this movie, but that's all about all that I can say about it. Is that it's okay. It's fun 80s stuff, but it's not a movie I would own. You know. I put it on the list here because I hadn't seen it in years. I saw it at the theater. I was at the Kubert School when this thing came out, and I think a bunch of us students went to go see it. You know, we thought it was cool, artsy, very artsy. But I would say, you know, maybe a 5 on the scale. Wonder what you guys think of it. Did you do your homework last night? Malcolm McDowell is creepy in everything he's in, even when he's playing like a nice guy. When he plays H.G. Wells in Time After Time, he's still creepy. There's just something creepy about this guy. He's a lot like Donald Sutherland. You know, Donald Sutherland, great actor and everything, but he always comes across as creepy and weird. And this movie, he's from the moment we meet him, we think that he's creepy. You know, I just don't know that he was the right cast. If we're supposed to hide the fact that he's, you know, this incestuous brother, Maybe get somebody who you would least expect that to be. You know, it's like when Stanley Kubrick hired Jack Nicholson for The Shining. You know, as soon as we meet him in his job interview, we're like, this guy could kill people. He's Jack Nicholson. He's got that, that eyebrow and that crazy look. He's not the everyman that snaps because of the ghosts. You believe this guy would snap anyway. The same thing here. When we meeting his sister for the first time at the airport, I was like, ooh, I wouldn't get in a car with this guy. Well, what's this? Dr. Mass says cat people. It's got naked chicks. Is that an exact quote? I'm not sure it is. All right, let's say hello to everybody here. Mark Penguin is here. Anthony Mark. He loves this movie. Davina Duckworth, who mentions that David Bowie had his song Cat People in it, putting out fire. Pastmaster Dan, who mentions that Nastasia is Klaus Kinski's daughter. Yep. How did a guy that ugly have a daughter that great looking? Go figure. The mother must have been something. Let's see. Optic Racer. Rob Fellows is here. He says hello to everybody in the Cool Cat chat. Pastmaster Dan reminds us that Billy Tucci's closing out his Rocketeer Pavlichenko art book. So click that link and go check it out in support of fellow bro. Rob Fellows has a daily quote. Now all our skeletons are coming out of the closet. Paul undersells what he's got to tell his sister. Yeah, a little bit. Very diverse reviews on IMDb. I believe it. This is sort of no middle ground on this movie. You either love it or you hate it. Well, no, I'm going to take that back because I'm in the middle. I like it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I like it. Optic Race Anthony Mark. Hi. So you love it. Is it more of an erotic thriller with monster elements or the opposite? Yeah, it's exactly that. An erotic thriller with horror elements. They even pitch it as that in the trailer, as an erotic thriller. Davina says the Giorgio Moroder soundtrack is great. Yeah, it's very creepy and cool and synthesized. It's very 80s sounding. But it's a product of its era. Yeah, Chris Thacker's here, and Dino Palacio. Well, Tom, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Hyper Kaiju says, howdy, Monster Gang. Bloody Drake. No, and Corey Haim is not in this. He was in a couple horror movies. He was in Silver Bullet, and he was in the vampire one with the other Corey. Can't remember it. With the greased up topless saxophone player. You guys will know what it is. Somebody will post it in there. I'm drawing a blank. I get so many things running through my head when I'm doing these live shows. Sometimes I can't remember certain stuff. Spaceman says, good morning, all. Oh, this is a good point. Rob Fellows says, apart from McDowell, the actors seem to be on autopilot, never reacting like real humans. Yeah, I think that's true. Particularly John Hurd. He comes across very wooden in this. Annette O'Toole was pretty cute in this too. Yeah, she was. I like how the one scene that they did replicate from the original was the pool scene, because that's one that everybody remembers, when Simone comes in at the end, or into the pool area and kind of gaslights. Was it Jane Randolph in the pool in the original? Can't remember. Another good point from Davina Duckworth is clearly an exploitation film, but kind of classier. Yeah, I would say it's an exploitation film that's gussied up to make it seem classier, make it seem arty. John Hurd discussed how he almost turned it down because he believed it was a porno film. Yeah, he played Caligula. They just released that movie, re-released that movie. Stat Zero's checking in. Hello, Stat Zero. Yeah, it does have a video rental feel, doesn't it? Wishful Thinking gives this a 4 out of 10. I gave it a 5. Chris Juliano gives it a solid 5. Dr. Mass says he thinks he likes the original better, but both are okay. I would agree with that, sir. Pity Ma is here. There's some kind of cool effects in here when Ed Begley Jr. gets his arm torn off. But I have to ask you, isn't that the point of the prod? So you don't have to stick your arm in through the bars? Isn't that the whole point of having this long prod? Why would you strap it to your arm and stick your arm in? You know, that goes into what I think it was Dr. Mask who said that they're walking through the roles, that not behaving in a human manner. Well, that's one of those stupid things that just, doesn't pass the smell test. Lost Boys. Thank you, guys. I knew you'd have it. That's a fun vampire movie. Again, very 80s, and the whole thing with the greased up saxophone guy. You could tell the director was gay just from that scene. That was Roddy McDowall in Fright Night, not Malcolm McDowell. You got the wrong McDowell. Black Guy says, I wish you didn't have to be at work at 5 in the morning, or I could have watched your video on The Incredible Shrinking Man when it aired. I saw that one recently on Svengoolie. Great movie. So far, there's been some good movies. Of the 4 we've watched, this is probably the weakest one. After watching this, I watched Foxy Brown. That was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, I love 70s blaxploitation films. They're so genuine. My favorite is Truck Turner. You got to see that because you can see where Quentin Tarantino steals a lot of his dialogue from Pulp Fiction out of. There's a sequence where Truck Turner and his pal are driving to pick up a bail skipper, and their conversation about nothing in the car, and the language they use is very, very. You can see how Tarantino was influenced by it. Hypergygus's Lost Boys was at his theater this past weekend. Snowman, hail Graham and everyone. Sorry I'm late. That's okay. Better late than never. Does anyone really need that much grease to play the saxophone? I'm not a musician, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, Fright Night is a fun film. I did the original Fright Night a few years back, and last year I did the remake with uh, the guy playing the Penguin, Colin Farrell. Not as good. The original's much better. Dragon Dancer says the autopsy of Paul grossed me out. Well, Julie and I watched it together last night, and when the arm plops out of inside the corpse, she started laughing. She was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that." So it was a nice little shocker without being, over the top. I thought that was kind of fun. Luckily, I never had a woman tell me she's late. That's a different kind of late. All right. So tomorrow, my friends, is Saturday, and we're going to be doing, I believe it's Cloverfield tomorrow. Time-wise, that's the question. We usually keep the weekends open to, when I can fit it in. So I'm going to shoot for morning, sometime before noon, maybe 10, 11, something like that. And then Sunday's more likely it'll be in the afternoon after we get back from Mass. So look for the notifications in the afternoon for tomorrow. I mentioned that last night I was going to try and do a watch party, but I got busy watching this movie. And so I may try to do one tonight if nobody's doing anything on a Friday night. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. But that way you'll get your notifications when we go live with shows and stuff, so you don't miss out on anything. So I guess until tomorrow, my friends, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you then. Have a good weekend.